Lightyear.
And we're live.
Live.
Hi.
Howdy. I'm just looking at list of films coming up, people.
Gotta look at those films.
Yes.
It's Wednesday night, Wednesday evening. Sun's still out. Hopefully, Congress will decide to stop making us set our clocks back.
Do not let me set my clock. But if I have to, I will. It's kind of what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Anyways, so here we are. It's Scuba and The Ry. I, of course, am Scuba, Steve, and of course, Ry.
Ry Guy, right here,
That
people.
guy.
Yes.
So here we are for your Wednesday night dose of conversations about games, movies, and other things. Anyways,
Everything, everywhere in this room.
yeah, I gotta be honest. I'm I went to the office today.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I knew you told me you were going to go to do the office thing.
Well, I got a new workspace, so I went in to check it out, make sure it looked good, and kind of interact with my coworkers in that building. And overall, not bad.
Okay.
Not bad. We got together, we had a few laughs, went out for lunch. Gonna start doing some cross training and with some more things with them, so it'll be fun. Something to just keep busy, keep moving forward with education and learning. But being in the office, man, oh my gosh, I forgot how hot that building got.
I was never in that building. I visited
you weren't.
once. I
You
visited. I visited.
But you're never in there. But yeah, and well, there was a bunch of stuff in the office, so I had to. So one of the first things I was doing was, claiming my space.
This is my cubicle or room.
Had to go through all the drawers and doors and shelves and, clean house. Because, yeah, it needed to be cleaned. I think I found enough plastic silverware to supply a fast food restaurant for an entire shift. Stuffed in the drawers.
You gotta be ready, I guess.
And napkins. Plenty of napkins.
Hey,
Lots
we all need napkins.
And then it was, stuff from like 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago, 3 or 4 occupants ago. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yeah,
All the stuff I had to go
sounds like
through.
they need a cleaning crew.
Yeah, well, now I can readjust some of the furniture I kept in there
Okay.
and make sure because I have one of those riser up
Go
desk
up,
type things where
go
it
down.
sits on
go
the
up,
desk and
go
lifts up
down.
and down. But right now I have to adjust the cabling and the computer so that I could do that. Right now, if I had to do that, I'd be ripping half the computer across the floor. So I'll have to tweak that a little bit. Then it's just, how do I want to lay the office out to where it feels functional for me in case anyone comes by to talk or whatnot. So still figuring that out. Plus I have a bookcase, so there's some books. I got to go through the books that I left in there.
Okay.
See which ones I want to keep in there. And
Are
maybe
they all like work-related books or just stuff you brought to read?
I didn't bring nothing. This is what was already in there. So this is a collection of motivational books over the last 5, 8 years that other previous occupants have put in there.
Motivation.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah, I guess there's ways to be.
it is what it is. It is what it is. I mean, but spending the day in there and cleaning that stuff up, it was nice. It wasn't terrible, but it was definitely not like working. Oh.
Yeah, you have more of a gravitas of feeling and movement here. I don't know what the office is set up, but I assume.
Well, right now it's a desk and a bookcase, and that's it. I cleared everything out because over the years I've gotten to the point where it's like, look, I only want to have the stuff in my workspace that I'm going to use. Otherwise, it just gets cluttered.
Yeah, I don't even have a desk or anything in our office anymore. It's just there. I exist.
Well, you're also not going back into the office.
That is true.
So unless your company starts adhering, because apparently there was a recent speech from the White House encouraging people to go back to the office for whatever reason, and it's like it was an opinion piece saying that this is actually a step in the wrong direction. We should encourage more work from home because now you're able to allow talent to find places to work because they're not being exhausted by commuting to a specific location, chewing up time.
Yeah.
I found interesting.
I mean, they have a work return to the office, but not all the teams are going to be going back. Some teams are spread out across the state anyway. So.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't mind. I mean, I know with what we have planned for the next 12 months is it's going to be a good idea to be back in the office more regularly.
Oh yeah.
But I don't have to be right now. I get to work that, like, I know for sure right now, once a week I'll be going in, spend the day in the office, chatting with people that need to chat with, and work some stuff in there. And as I figure out, because it's a different mindset to work in the office remotely. Anyways, so what about you, Raya? What's up?
Well, what's
School,
up with
reading?
me? Yeah, you almost have it down pat because it's always school and reading, as there's always a proverbial book with me when I come.
What's that one about?
I have no idea. I just started the first chapter. I can give you the title. It's called Exit West, and it has something to do with exiting west. But so far, I've only read the first chapter. It's not a theory book, thank goodness. It's an actual novel, which I like novels because story and bring it in, and it brings a tangibility to the theories that we talk about in class. Because
Okay.
that's why I like the novels a lot more that we read.
I've been on a bit of an audiobook kick too, trying to plow through some audiobooks.
Good.
Went through a couple of Dirk Pitt books from Clive Kessler, and on book 3 of the Thrawn Ascendancy Chiss Ascendancy series.
That the canon books.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's Timothy Zahn's next trilogy involving his character creation Thrawn. This one is told entirely from his time in the with the Chiss, and it's very interesting. It's very interesting because it's all about the politics. Like book 3 is definitely focusing on the politics and building on what we've read about in the previous 2
Okay.
books. So this should come to a good conclusion, which I'm looking forward to. I'm probably about halfway through. It's the longest of the 3 books at a 24-hour listening time.
Okay, that's good. Yep. So other than reading my life away, we did have a big birthday bash over the weekend.
Oh, really? Whose
So,
birthday?
Well, birthdays. So me and my group of friends, we decided to plan a big group birthday shenanigans because we have 4 people that have March birthdays. My girlfriend Angelica has a birthday, and then my good friends Sean, Jeff, and Chris. They all have birthdays in March, so we all decided let's pull together and just do one big bash. So it's planned out by my best friend Crystal. So thank you for planning it out. So what we did, we went to everybody gathered at Crystal's house, and then we all ventured. We had DD's group together, in certain vehicles, and we went to Three Notch Brewery. Did the drinking and the eating there. And then we went and walked down the block because Three Notch Brewery is in Town Center. And then we walked to Apex Entertainment, which houses a lot of different things you can do in there. But we specifically rented out a few lanes for bowling. They have bowling there. So we went and bowled for a few hours. And then after that, we went back to the house to enjoy just fun-filled time of drinking and rock band. There you go.
Cool.
That was a fun night. And other than that, just reading and work.
Reading and work.
Reading and work. I did get my grade for our first major project, which is a good grade. But that's all that matters to me. A great grade. It's because it is grad school and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of writing. So hey, a B is a good B when you're writing so much and only understand half of it. So.
Right.
But yeah, other than that, yeah, that's it. And just thinking about the weekends to come, warm weather, and maybe some more winery trips.
That's always fun.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we got a movie review. We got some video game conversations tonight.
This is a straight,
mostly video game inspired conversation.
Yes.
So aside from our weekly review, which this week we have the outfit, so let's go and kick that off.
The Outfit. This was actually a movie that snuck under the radar. I saw a trailer for it and remembered it, and only knew about it when I looked at my app and said, "Oh, this is a movie coming out this weekend."
All right, so what do we got here? I know we were talking pre-show. This some of the movies this kind of brings to mind.
Yeah.
But let's hear about it. So.
All right. So The Outfit is a what I call an old-fashioned thriller, and it focuses on a man by the name of Leonard, played by Mark Rylance. If you know him, he's in a plethora of movies. You can check out his IMDb biography where he's got a plethora of films. But he plays Leonard, who is a master tailor that moved to Chicago from England. And he has an assistant that goes by the name of Mabel, played by actress Zoe Dutch. And what they do, they make the finest of clothings in the city, but the only people that can purchase the clothing, because they're very fine works of suits, is the local mob. And being in Chicago, the mob is supreme, especially in the post-Capone era. There's a plethora of mob families there. You don't go into too deep on it. You're just focusing on the character of Leonard and Mabel and his tailor shop. So because he works with the mob, his store is a front for the mob. So they do a lot of exchanges in there, money exchanges and whatnot.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what happens is that in the beginning in the film, you get introduced to Leonard and everybody, and just a few of the characters that come in and out of the tailor shop. But what it does in the beginning is that there's a monologue, and he does a monologue about being a tailor and how everything fits the situation or fits the suit, and you got to understand the person you're making the suit for. And that monologue at first is the surface level of explaining just how to be a tailor.
Okay.
But as the film goes along, you realize that it becomes a front for his own characterization of the people he interacts with. So what that leads into is that there's one fateful night, because that store acts as a front for the mob, two of the mob people that he interacts with run there as a safe haven. One of them gets shot, and they're running away from the police and the other family gangsters, because what happens is they steal a suitcase that has evidence of framing the snitch who's been ratting them out to the FBI, to Edgar Hoover, who was running the FBI at the time.
Yeah.
So from that point, it becomes a game of lies and deceptions, and just this subtle manipulation of Leonard trying to figure out a way for him and assistant to survive the night. Just survive the night with all this mob
Shenanigans?
mob shenanigans happening. And from there, that's where the thrills happen. It's a very slow build, but once it kicks in with that, when the two individuals come to the tailor shop for a safe haven, that's when all things hit the fan, but in a very subtle way.
Okay.
So what I love about this film is that it's a very slow burn, but it's purposeful burn, and everything's done through conversational wit and a figuring of a way of surviving the night. So you watch as Leonard is perceiving the situation. You are watching things happen through his intuition, through his mannerisms, his physical presence, his conversation. So you have to delicately pay attention to what he is saying and how he is working angles of not only the two mob families, but individuals within the mob themselves.
Okay.
So you get to see a back and forth of trying to figure out what is this character of Leonard. Like, there is something that of his past that plays into why he is who he is, why he is the tailor.
All right. So going off of that, and then as what we're talking about is like, this kind of has a vibe like Hotel Artemis.
Okay, I've never saw that, but I have an idea based on the premise.
Well, yeah, based on what you're saying with this, it feels very much like Hotel Artemis, where the hotel, the doctor sits there and she treats criminals, but there are certain rules for while you're in the hotel, and it gets to be one of those nights where, you know, it's just comedy of circumstances, where all of a sudden, how do you survive the night when the smooth running operation all of a sudden is thrown out of whack? So yeah. I get that kind of vibe as you're talking about this, but I like how this one is more of a period piece versus Artemis, which is more of a future piece.
Yes, this is very much a period piece mixed in with the old-fashioned thriller. And what I mean by that is it's not done by the gimmicks or done by the cliches. Everything is wholesome to the characters as it grounds into the characters' conversations, and them just playing off of each other, and them trying to figure out, is he telling the truth or the lies? Like at one point, this ain't really a big spoiler, he literally comes out and says to a character, I am the snitch, whether he is or not, but it's the play on of the situation, because he says it up front, but does he really mean it, or is he using it as a ploy for something else?
It feels like a ploy.
Yeah, and because of that, those are the kind of things that happen in the movies, those subtlety and stuff that shows how the script is raising up the tension. It's the interactions that are raising up the tensions, not the gimmicks, not bombastic situations. It's just them and the night.
Now, the other thing is, and this is something you corrected me on, is like when you see this, and I have to say, my first impression was this is a different version, just another version of the Kingsman, or the whole play on these individuals all go through some kind of tailor shop or suit shop, but they're all international spies kind of deal. Whereas this, you may get that first impression based on the artwork and and the preliminary concept, but this is a much different story. But it does have it loosely takes some of the same commonalities, which is the tailor and a very specific clientele.
Yeah.
You know?
It's very grounded and very in tune to its simple aesthetic, which makes the third act a lot more riveting once things come to light. So.
Okay, well, I should have made sure I made time to watch this, so I think I will.
Yep.
All right, so what'd you give it, Ry?
Overall, it's a very traditional, old-fashioned thriller. It takes a while to get into it, but once it does, you're on the edge of your seat until the end. 3.5 out of 5. It's a matinee. It is worth seeing at the theaters if you like old-fashioned thrillers with great acting, especially from Mark Rylance.
Alrighty.
Yep, and you should check it out. When I watched this, the first thing I thought about is Scuba. Love this kind of movie.
Okay, well, I'll go see about checking it out this weekend. Although we do have, you said you were going to check out the new Sandra Bullock, Channing Tatum movie.
Yes, The Lost City comes out this weekend.
Lost City.
Lost City. There's just
something. Who doesn't want him? Who wants to miss out on Daniel Radcliffe playing another eccentric, wealthy villain?
Yeah, and it's just something about the trailer. Every time I see the trailer, and when Brad Pitt shows up in the trailer, and that line in the trailer always gets me, where Sandra Bullock's character asks Brad Pitt, "Why are you so handsome?" And all he does is look at her and says, "My father was a weatherman." And every time he says it, I bust out laughing. I don't know why, but I just do.
We'll see about doing that up.
Yeah. Alrighty.
So we got that out of the way, which is good. Don't have any movies to watch. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of audiobooks and playing Horizon Forbidden West.
Got any further in that game?
I'm working through the last continent at the last section of the map, and I'm working on completed a few more quests and got the legendary gear that comes with that. So now it's just working through the jobs to upgrade the gear before I move on to the next stage.
Okay.
From what I understand, the next major quest line I do has a real big impact. It starts the third act of the game.
Okay.
So I'm at that point. I could or I couldn't, but it's not bad.
Is the story getting deep? Is there certain revelations happening? Like, who is the main villain that she's fighting against, or
the
villains?
There's a couple of villains, so we're getting to the point now. We're going to start closing off because we have a local villain, we have an electronic villain, and then we have a non-so local villain. And so we're going to start working through those three.
Okay.
Starting with the electronic villain and then moving on to the others. So I'm kind of wanting to go through the finish off my exploration, finish off upgrading gear, and then start working those additional quests. Which is fine. I mean, I'm exploring some sections of the map and completing quests, so it's all good.
All right.
But all right, so we got some stuff to talk about.
Oh yes,
what we got to talk about.
So this thriller of a video game night. Gotta play there, people. Aha. So yeah, we have a lot of. This is a video game themed night because pretty much everything is video game themed. So
well, let's start off with the new. Well, kind of a good transition. We're talking about movies and shows. Let's transition to Netflix. Netflix just announced a trailer for a Tekken-based anime.
Yes.
That's dropping at some point this year.
Yep. It's called Tekken Bloodline, and it's the next video game adaptation from Netflix. which is good because Netflix has been hitting it great with their video game adaptations.
Part of that is because some of the studios are looking at it,
Oh yeah,
like the arc. We were talking about Arcane and how intense Arcane is, and that you know what, this is the game studio
yeah,
taking on the production of the show,
yeah,
and we're seeing that input because I think some of the times we have these misses is when we're doing a video game adaptation and the people who know the most about the source material aren't doing it. It's somebody else is doing it, so their vision is sometimes counteracting what the fans of the franchise do. And you have some misses, you have some things that
yeah.
go
But
sideways. It happens.
yeah, Netflix has done pretty well with their adaptations from Arcane, which is based on lore from League of Legends. You had Castlevania for 4 seasons, which was wonderful, and then you also have The Witcher, which is an anime, but it's a live action adaptation that is done fairly well. I
Oh
think.
yeah.
So
There was some rumor that Henry Cavill's leaving the franchise after season 3, and I'm like, what?
is he?
I don't know. I think
don't
it's a rumor because you listen to him; he's very passionate about this project.
Yeah, he's very in tune with this, especially he's a geek at heart. But it's this new anime, which is being adapted by Netflix, is going to be focused on the fighter Jin Kazama. So this is from the article on Gizmodo,
Gizmodo.
where Jin wants revenge for the death of his mother June at the hands of an apparent demon.
Which is all playing into Tekken 3's storyline.
Oh yeah.
And so this is nice how we're picking up with these characters and going through for some of the dynamics and some of the core things for the game, which would be interesting.
Yeah, and it says that the only way to get is that he's going to seek out training from his grandfather. I butchered this name, Hachi Mashima. So if
Who is, we all know,
Yeah.
is the big bad of the franchise. He's the guy that just keeps on being a problem.
Yep. So in the trailer, it showcases a lot of fight scenes, a lot of characters that fans of the game will recognize, which includes Jaguar Mask King, Paul Phoenix from the original Tekken, and DLC fighter for 7, Leroy Smith, and Jin's father, Kazuya Shima.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
But yep, it's planning to come out this year, which surprised me when I watched the trailer. I was like expecting maybe early next year, and then also saw 2022. I was like, oh, this must have been in production for a while.
Had to be.
Yeah.
Which we all know Netflix is throwing a lot of projects, and seeing how they come together and then putting them up.
Yep.
So just because we'll get it doesn't mean we'll get it for very long.
Oh yeah, so it is there. It'll be there. So if you have a Netflix subscription, look forward to that.
Speaking of upcoming stuff, CD Projekt Red announced their next game, which
Yes.
is going to be a new Witcher game. Now it's
Yeah.
not Witcher 4; it's Witcher a new saga, where or it's like they're going to have the same universe, but we're gonna have hopefully we're gonna have new characters. We're not gonna
Yeah.
continue on with Geralt, but there is some speculation that Ciri from Witcher 3 is going to be the main character for this new Witcher game. Which, you know what, that makes sense based on how some of the storylines end in The Witcher 3, and we know that Witcher 3 does have a good ending for Geralt, where he can retire in peace. Not that a Witcher ever retired.
They never really retire. They just exist.
Yeah.
But the really cool thing about this, as reported in Kotaku, is that they are not using their Red engine this time around. They're moving on to Unreal 5, which is the engine from Epic Games. And they're also doing this with partnership with Epic. So it's a multi-year strategic partnership with them. So it's not going to cover not only licensing, but technology development of the Unreal Engine 5. So not only does this sound promising for The Witcher and any other subsequent Witcher game, but any other thing they plan to develop in the future. So this is very promising. Definitely, it sounds like a step in the right direction because everybody knows what happened with Cyberpunk. So yeah.
And of course, we're also knowing that currently we're going to get an up-res re-release of The Witcher 3 on next gen on the Series and PS5.
Yeah, that is tempting. But the thing is, I spent so long playing through that game, and I enjoyed every minute of it. I don't know if I want to go through it. It's kind of like Skyrim, how they release Skyrim every other day. Um, is it every other day? Yeah, it's every other day.
Yeah, I mean it's
Yeah,
on on
it's on everything.
Amazon, it's on mobile, it's on
Yeah,
VR, it's on Switch. It's I mean it
it's on the
is.
back of a
And
carton. It's in my
every year they keep
yeah.
re-releasing it. I
Yeah,
mean,
but it's one of those things that, like, yes, they're gonna re-release it, and there's gonna be a slew of people who haven't played it that can play it, which I would highly recommend. If you haven't played Witcher 3, go ahead and play it once they convert it. But since you put in so much time in the game, you don't want to really go back. You want to try new things like
yeah, yeah.
Elden Ring, which I've been playing.
Yeah, Elden Ring is definitely one of those
Yeah.
for new. But yeah, I mean, I've been wanting to go back to Witcher. I just haven't committed the time.
Did you finish the main story? Okay.
It took me a month to get out of the tutorial area. What are you talking about?
I
And then
have a
set it
story.
down.
I have a story. Speaking of that, I've told you this story.
Uh-huh.
So I played The Witcher 3, and then I stopped for like a couple months because there was a mission that made me mad so much I couldn't get past it. So I was like, I'm done. And then I come back to it, and then I eventually got through it. I don't know how. And then after that,
I went through, and then I got to a point I had to put it down because something came up, and a few weeks went by, and for me, the control scheme on that really is one of those, if you're not actively doing it, you're going to lose it. And I don't play games as dedicated as some. So for me, if I lost playing the game, then all of a sudden I've got to relearn. And
yeah,
sometimes it's like, where was I? What was I going to do? Because when you get to a point where you have multiple storylines, you could start following, and you have to start picking out, okay, what's my next objective? And I wanted to cross the ferry, so I talked to the ferry master. He's like, hey, go find my brother, make sure he gets here safe. I did that. Unfortunately, the brother died, and then the ferry master was like, screw you, I ain't doing squat. And so now it's like,
I think I remember
okay,
that
what do
mission.
I do now?
Yeah, I remember that mission.
And I was like, whoa.
Yeah, but yeah, I totally get it when you come back to a game and it's been a while that you have to figure out the controls. That's me with the Red Dead 2. I had to, gallop through the wilderness till I could figure out the controls again. So yeah, I totally understand.
It's totally. But this would be nice to see, and we'll see it in 10 years.
Oh yeah, on the back of a carton, in your back seat, on your shoe. Yeah, it's gonna be everywhere.
Well, I mean, it'll probably take 5 to 10 years before it releases, unless you really think we're going to see this in 2023 or 2025. I think 2025.
Oh, are you talking about the new game? I thought you were talking about a re-release.
No, re-release we know is going to happen probably this year, but I don't think we're going to see this until 2025 at the earliest.
Yeah, I agree with that timeline because
2025, maybe even maybe even 2030.
Yeah, because if they announced it today, or no, it wasn't today. If they announced it this week, that means they already have prelims. So thinking it out, it would be about 2025.
Or they've gotten to the point. This is where they're going to start. They've been working on it, and then they realize that, hey, we're gonna do this deal instead to kind of help push us forward. So we'll see how it goes. All right, what we got next? Oh yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of video games and video game news,
Yeah.
what got announced?
There's this thing called the Video Game Hall of Fame.
Yep. And the 2022 finalist was released this week.
Let's take that back and let's talk about this. A Video Game Hall of Fame.
Let's go back a day.
What is this? What is this craziness?
So the Video Game Hall of Fame is a hall of fame for video games, which is housed in the Strong National Museum of Play, which also houses the Toy Hall of Fame, which is located in Rochester, New York. So they also have the Toy Hall of Fame. They got a few other museum exhibits, and basically it highlights the love and play of games. So,
okay. So they're having this induction kind of deal, like we have all these other Hall of Fames.
Yeah, so they have a Hall of Fame. They started in 2015, and each year they have finalists. We'll get into the other inductees later, but for 2022, they did release the list.
Yeah, they did, and I mean, this is a definite variety here. I mean, we're talking
variety.
The original NBA Jam.
Yep.
All the way Minesweeper.
Yep. And you got, speaking of originals, you have the original Resident Evil. Original Sid Meier's Civilization.
Words with Friends.
Yep. You have DDR, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, and something that's close to my heart because I played pretty much every single game in the series is Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, and there's also this Rogue fantasy adventure game.
I never heard of that one.
I hadn't either. But I think Pa Rappa the Rapper from PlayStation in '96 launch. It's like, yeah, there's a weird one we're seeing in this.
Oh yeah. So, but like you said, it's a good variety, and what you see just within just the finalists for this year is that it's highlighting certain certain strengths of the history of video games and points of when certain games made an impact, because it looks like they go for impactful games, not just
Oh yeah, and they have another page here which is some recent inductees. And we have Animal Crossing for GameCube. We have the original Microsoft Flight Simulator. We have the first StarCraft game, and Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
I just love that one because I played that a lot as a kid,
That
and it
was
always
like
made me mad when I got close and then she would get away and she's like, "Mm."
I remember the game show.
Oh yeah.
I remember.
I
the
don't think
game show.
I don't think I watched the game.
Oh, the game show was great because I had that great acapella group, and it was just goofy kid fun, and it was it was a lot of fun. And then of course we had the different cartoon adaptations.
Oh yeah.
There was the one for for Fox Kids, Saturday mornings, early or mid '90s for Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. And then of course the games, which we have Where in the World, Where in the U.S., Where in Time, Where in this, Where in that, and it's like,
oh yeah,
it's
they had a
great
lot
'cause
of.
it taught you history, it taught you geography, it taught you problem solving.
Yeah, that was a good thing. Is the problem solving is mixed in.
Very
with the history
educational
and
game.
Made it fun, but if you on the website, if you scroll past that recent inductees, you can list all of the inductees, which is only 32 games because they've only done it since 2015. And going back to what you said, it's a good variety, but it also plays on the strength of video game history and showcases very impactful games of certain times in those
Oh
decades
yeah,
of
like
games.
let's look. 2015, their first set of inductees. There's six
Let
of
me
them.
scroll down.
Tetris, Super Mario Brothers, Pac-Man, World of Warcraft, Doom, and Pong.
Okay, I have to uncheck everything because I checked everything. So, yep, 2015.
I mean, let's talk about some of those. Like, okay, I could see Mario Brothers because that was like the first NES game, and we all met the plumber who ate weird flowers and could spit fireballs, kind of stuff.
Oh yeah,
And the best trap of your princess is in another castle. I mean, come on.
and it's very historical because it's at that point when Nintendo saved the video game industry.
Oh yeah, because
and the
video
game
games
did.
had taken a nasty dive.
Oh yeah,
Then of course we have Pac-Man.
yeah. Pac-Man, that just speaks for itself. Like that
It
is
does,
that is
it
the arcade
does.
game of arcade games. Like everybody, even people that don't even play video games know when you say Pac-Man, they know what you're talking about.
Oh,
My
yeah.
dad knows what Pac-Man is. Like he don't like video games,
kinda
but he loves Pac-Man.
I'm kind of surprised. I'm surprised, but not surprised that World of Warcraft made it in here because of the list, World of Warcraft is the newest of these six
Oh yeah.
games from 2015.
Yeah, it highlights, like I said, it highlights impact because when you look at the first because this is the first year, so the first six, obviously each of these games made an impact at their time, and some are still making impact to this day. So
Your free copy of Doom shareware.
So
The original Doom. How many times?
going to the next year, you have GTA 3, Oregon Trail, The Legend of Zelda OG, The Sims, Sonic the Hedgehog, and Space Invaders. That's 2016.
Oh, Oregon Trail, man. How many of us have these?
How many of us died of dysentery? I could raise my hand
I
100
don't know.
times.
How in a day? In a day? In a week? I mean,
I
you
don't
gotta
know.
quantify that because, I mean,
My family-
Oregon Trail is brutal. I mean,
I never made it. I never made it.
I'm sorry. Maybe the kids of the developers who did this are the ones who do Dark Souls, because there's obviously something that's tracking through
Yeah.
generations with
They're
that one.
watching you. But yeah, I just love like when I see these games, it does highlight a lot of like just my childhood and just my own growing up through video games. Like Sonic the Hedgehog was my game on Genesis, so I love seeing that. So
So we had for in 2017 they inducted 4 games.
oh yeah.
Halo Combat Evolved, arguably one of the top 5 best shooters ever.
Yep.
Street
And
Fighter 2, no
oh,
contest.
no like I'm a Mortal Kombat kid. I grew up playing Mortal Kombat,
Yeah,
but Street Fighter 2
was the one that started it. Street
Street
Fighter
Fighter
was
2.
the OG.
Like the only 2 fighting games I had on my Genesis was Mortal Kombat 3 and Street Fighter 2.
Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
Um,
Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong. First time we saw Mario.
Oh yeah.
And Pokemon Red and Green, but Green was never released in the US from
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Yeah, so Green was only released in Japan, and when it came stateside, they did Blue instead of Green. But you could still get a hold of Green if you knew how. So 2018,
Tomb Raider.
we had
Great. That's a lot of people recognize that one. I think this is fitting for John Madden football, considering John Madden passed away this year.
oh yeah, John Madden football. When it comes to football game, Madden is synonymous with football video games, and it changed a lot throughout the years. And then Final Fantasy VII, a lot of people consider that one of the best RPGs of all time. So that would make sense. That would make, because that was a big change for Final Fantasy when they went to 7.
Oh yeah, 7 was, and of course, a good one for history is Space War.
Oh yeah.
Which was originally developed in the 1960s.
Oh yeah. So
And it was, it actually had an article spread in Rolling Stone magazine.
Alright.
Let's see, 1971, a coin-operated version in the Stanford Student Union. And it's just like such a cool concept for this game, as being one of the ones that sparked the whole concept of video games.
oh yeah, looking through this list, it gives you a good idea of what their criteria is. So when you move to 2019, you got 4 more: Super Mario Kart, Mortal Kombat. Enough said there. Microsoft Solitaire. How many of y'all, including me, played that solitaire game on your PC?
Oh yeah, no, we got to go with Colossal Cave Adventure,
So
man.
you gotta teach the youngin here about that game, because it's not very prevalent. I see a cassette tape in that picture. So
Colossal Cave Adventure inspired numerous games to help launch the commercial computer game industry, including Scott Adams' 1978 title Adventureland and Infocom's Zork. Fire the imagination anyone who has typed Get Lamp into Colossal Cave Adventure, experience how the game could conjure up a world of spelunking, puzzle solving, and treasure gathering with only words. It's a text-based game.
oh yeah, so that's
I mean-
just
Inspired by Dungeons and Dragons.
where is that? Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely a good callback.
Yeah. So 2020 is another list of 4. So it looks like they're sticking to that number 4. So
Yeah,
we
so we have King's Quest, which looks like another text-based game from the OG days.
Centipede, another arcade game that enough said.
81, 84, Minecraft, and Bejeweled, which
Yeah.
we all know Bejeweled.
Bejeweled is like an addicted game. So 2021, the last year before now.
And that is the 4 games
Yeah.
in 2021 were Animal Crossing, StarCraft, Flight Sim, and
All right.
Carmen Sandiego.
So it's a good list, and it's interesting.
I like it.
I like it.
I like the idea of this. And, I got a New York trip planned this
Oh, yeah,
summer.
so
I might,
might
swing by that.
So, to lead on with the current list, and it seems like they're sticking with 4. What 4 would you pick out of 2022 that you would induct in Scuba? Let's go with
Oh, man.
from that list.
We have Zelda in there for once already.
The OG.
OG Zelda. I don't know about Candy Crush. I might go with the NBA Jam.
That's a good pick. That is because
I could definitely see NBA Jam because that was one of the first. Oh, that one's pretty good.
that was I think one of the first sports game to do it arcade style.
And I have to say, it's Sid Meier and Resident Evil would be my 2 and 3 pick.
Okay.
Number 4. Number 4. Oh man, I can't really decide on number 4. I mean,
all right, you can think about that. And I can start my list.
All right, what are your 4?
Okay. First, I'm going to have to do it. This is just emotional pick, but I think it would be a good pick for number 1 is Assassin's Creed, because at the time, open world was a certain way, and then when Assassin's Creed entered in, it revolutionized what the open world can be, especially with the stealth.
Okay.
The second one I would do, if I was scrolling through the list, I would do NBA Jams too, because NBA Jam was an amazing arcade sports style game.
And it wasn't football.
Yeah, number 3, I would do Resident Evil because horror.
It's the first one for the horror horror survival genre. It started it.
And number 4, just because, is Miss Pac-Man. Because as strong as Pac-Man was, Miss Pac-Man was just as played in the arcade. So those are my 4: Assassin's Creed, Miss Pac-Man, NBA Jam, and
I'd have to say for my number 4, I'd probably go Minesweeper.
That was not a bad pick, and that is a game I played a lot, and I still play a lot. I got the app on my phone. Yeah, I got the app on my phone just because it's just fun to play, and I know how to play it. So,
all right. So to wrap up on this, we got another little odd story, and that is we got the next Sonic the Hedgehog movie coming out, which the first one was wildly successful.
yeah, surprisingly good. Not not just financially, but surprisingly good.
The second one looks like it's going to capitalize on that, but obviously you got to have your collector's edition options, and Microsoft is releasing a Sonic the Hedgehog inspired Xbox Series S, where you have the artwork on the console where Sonic and Knuckles facing off, but the bit that is like the gimmick to me is the fact it gives you a pair of controllers covered in fur.
Yep.
One blue and one red. It's like, I'm sorry, I don't want a furry controller.
Hey, I think it's amazing, at least for display. I don't see a functionality with it, but it's cool because they're red and blue being that you have Sonic, and then you have a Knuckles who's being introduced and voiced by Idris Elba, sexy voice.
Which is great, but I'm sorry, but you don't get this to play. You get this to put on a shelf because I have kids, and I know how kids are going to be with a furry controller. I mean, have you not seen your controllers after little kids play with them for a few weeks?
I don't have little kids.
They are disgusting.
They wouldn't play my controllers. They cost too much. I would give them some broken down one from back in the day. But, this is an article from Game Informer. So there's 2 ways you can get your hands on this unique software. One is either you retweet the sweepstakes and include the hashtag Xbox Sonic 2 sweepstakes, or you redeem your Microsoft reward points, US only, in the console reward app. And the contest begins today, whenever this article was released, till the 30th of April.
This article was posted yesterday.
So, yesterday till the 30th, you have a chance to get Series...
April 30th.
Yeah, April 30th, correct, thank you. Till April 30th to get your hands on a furry controller. Yeah, let's do it.
No.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it. I already have enough game systems.
I mean, I like the artwork, but I'm not. I can't.
Oh yeah, and just
But if you're that kind of person, by all means, check this out.
Oh yeah.
Furry controllers for your Xbox Series S.
Oh yeah. And there was a link in the same article about a Shang-Chi Xbox Series X. So
yeah, I could see that one.
If you want that one, go for it. But hey, that is what we have.
And apparently, Sonic the Hedgehog's getting a 3rd film that's going to be a spin-off that's only on Paramount Plus.
No, it's going to get a 3rd film and a spin-off. The spin-off is going to be a series focused on Knuckles.
Interesting. Alrighty. Well, hey, thank you everybody for watching this and hanging out with us. We're kind of wrapped up and doing our thing, and we're going to head on over for our after show where we're going to talk a little bit more video game stuff. If you enjoyed this video and enjoyed the podcast, please hit a like on the video. If you're new, hit the subscribe, hit the little bell notifications if you get notified when future videos come out. And then just share this out with your friends and family and spread the word. That's the best thing you can do to help us support us. Plus, come back and hang out with us next week. If you would like to do more, you can head on over to patreon.com/scuba studio and consider being a patron. We have a couple of behind the scenes comments, get a look at some of our posts. And one of the most common things is we have an after show where Ryan and I spend another additional 15-20 minutes
Chit-chatting about random topics or extensions of what
as
we
well
have.
as background behind the scenes stuff, what's going on with
Blah,
the
blah, blah,
studio
blah,
and
blah, blah,
life.
blah.
So thank you to Sirenscape for the background music and soundboards. Sirenscape is a wonderful platform for adding to your tabletop experience. Go to sirenscape.com to check out their online sound library, and as well as links to download the app onto your mobile device if you want to do that, or you can, or to connect with friends virtually if we're still doing that. You can share links to run the sounds for your tabletop experience. Go to sirenscape.com for more. And with that, right, I think we're good, man. Are we good?
We're good.
We good. All right. Y'all be safe. Y'all have fun. Do those things. And we will see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Peace.